FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
In any event, I can simply say that Kennedy, as demonstrated by his speech as a United States Senator opposing the U.S. taking France's place in Indochina, and another even greater speech in the United States Senate supporting the independence of Algeria in its war with its colonial master, France, I think that Kennedy would never have sent combat troop divisions to Vietnam. He was urged to. He probably, over the period of his presidency, sent 3 different expert missions to Indochina, to Vietnam, South Vietnam. They always came back and said, the only way that the North Vietnamese can be defeated to stop the so-called domino effect of communist victory in Indochina and Vietnam spreading through the rest of Asia. The only way you can do it is to send combat troop divisions to help the South Vietnamese army and to send bombers to bomb North Vietnam and the Ho Chi Minh Trail by which North Vietnamese troops are pouring in to South Vietnam. Kennedy heard them, but he never did it, and I don't think he ever would have done it. I think he would have looked for some kind of negotiated solution. He even asked Ken Galbraith, his ambassador to India, the great Harvard economist, he asked Ken Galbraith to find out from the Indians who were close to the North Vietnamese, to find out if there's some way, some counterpart with whom a negotiation could be held, perhaps to neutralize South Vietnam the same way that he had neutralized Laos. Unfortunately, Kennedy was dead before all that could be carried into fruition. But because he had learned in the Berlin crisis and in the Cuban crisis and elsewhere that political problems, and when you talk about regime change, that's essentially a political problem. Political problems do not lend themselves to military solutions. I don't think he ever would have scrapped or put aside the advisors and instructors that he was sending to South Vietnam, following on the Eisenhower policy, which started sending advisors and instructors. I don't think he would have sent combat troop divisions to South Vietnam or bombers to North Vietnam. I think he would have looked for a negotiated way out. In fact, in the last month of his life, roughly November 1, he and McNamara announced that from that point on, they were going to focus on withdrawing advisors and instructors. By that time, there were 16 or 17,000 of them, and they announced that 1,000 were going to be pulled out before the end of 1963.